And last but definitely not the least, lighting is one of the most important ingredients when making photorealistic renders. Setting up great lighting is an important part of any production. It is something that must be set up just right to achieve the look you are after. Because of course, without lighting, your models cannot be seen because it's dark. You always need some kind of lighting, whether the source is HDRI or physical light, or maybe both. When it comes to lighting, it doesn't all come down to placing virtual lights within your scene. While that's obviously important, in order to get realistic lighting, you also need to play with the position of the light as well as with intensity, color, and other light settings. Keep in mind that sometimes you will need to adjust your materials, as adding lights often alters how your materials look. Your ground color in particular plays a big role as well. So I have a simple scene here, lit only by an HDRI with a simple grayish ground plane. I will now show you how lighting affects the mood of your rendering. So if we start adding physical lights to the scene, each light having different color and intensity, we can easily get a different look to our render. And also, by using physical lights, it's much easier to get nice caustics effects, which I will talk more on in caustics lesson. This is how I have set up the 3 light sources for this scene. So you can see the different positions of each light with different intensities and colors all working together in lighting this scene up. Or if you simply choose a different HDRI map to light your scene, you can get very different looks and feels for your scenes. Even if you use the same HDRI, but simply change the saturation, you will get different results. So what is this HDRI, you might ask yourself? HDRI, or short for High Dynamic Range Imaging, is a technique used in imaging and films to reproduce a greater dynamic range of luminosity than what it is possible with standard digital imaging or photographic techniques. One aim of HDR is to present a similar range of luminance to that experienced through the human eye. Human eye, through the adaptation of the iris, adjusts constantly to adapt to a broad range of luminance presented in the environment. This basically means that this image has much higher range of colors and luminance, and for instance, if you want to adjust its brightness, it will not burn out the details in the image, as it contains much more data. If you compare adjusting brightness on a regular JPEG file and an HDR file, you will see that on a JPEG file, you will burn out all the details pretty fast, while on HDR file, you can really fine-tune the brightness as it contains much more luminosity information. So in KeyShot, HDRI is used for lighting environments. KeyShot can wrap these probes around an environment and they will provide the lighting to a scene. So these are usually just 2D spherical textures wrapped around a virtual sphere which stands as your environment. Your models are positioned somewhere around the center of this sphere, and this way you're getting the light sources and the reflections from every direction. You will see later in the course that the HDRI does not only provide lighting for the scene, but also reflections of the objects within the scene. In KeyShot, you have all the tools to manipulate your HDRI environments like brightness, contrast, size, and rotation, but it also has some editing capabilities through its HDRI editor, where you can add different pins acting as light sources or even reflections.